Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, which is all about GCSE Biology. Preparation made easy and stress-free, the concepts made clear and details made easy and simple for you to remember them and recall when needed. If you want to ace your exam, watch till the end, and if you really like my content, please like, share and subscribe my video channel for more videos and resources. Now let's begin with today's video lesson, which is based on the June 2024 AQA GCSE Biology Higher Tier Paper 1H. So here is a breakdown of the answers and specific exam tips for each section to help you secure every mark. Let's start our journey to this past paper, and looking on slide 1 you can read the first question, which is question number 1, which deals with cardiovascular disease and first aid. Now let's look into the first part. 1.1 says which blood vessels are affected by coronary heart disease. The answer is arteries. Why is this answer? Let me give you an exam tip. Be specific. While coronary heart disease affects blood vessels, the mark scheme requires the term arteries, specifically coronary arteries. Don't confuse them with veins, which have thinner walls and valves. Now let's move on to the question part. 1.2, which says explain why putting pressure on the heart helps the person. Answer requires more than just information or the memory recall, but understanding of how CPR is saving lives every day. So pushing on the chest manually circulates or pumps blood around the body. This ensures that oxygenated blood still reaches vital organs, such as the brain, even while the heart has stopped. Let me give you an exam tip. Explain means you need a cause and effect. Cause: pushing on chest. Effect: blood reaches the brain organs. Let us move on to third part of the question, which is 1.3, which says describe how forcing air into the person's lungs helps. And the answer is it provides oxygen to the lungs so it can diffuse into the blood. And the exam tip is always mention the specific gas. Saying it helps them breathe is too vague for GCSE. Say it provides oxygen. Let's move on to the next question, part number 1.4, and the question asks you to name one type of drug that would decrease the level of cholesterol. The answer to this question is drug statins. Now, exam tip: this is a recall question. Keep a list of drugs and their uses in your revision notes. Common ones include statins, antibiotics, and digitalis. Let's talk about the question. 1.5, it says explain how a stent works. And the answer to this question is a stent is a metal mesh tube that widens the lumen, the inside space, of the artery. This keeps the artery open so that blood can flow to the heart muscle, delivering oxygen. Exam tip: use the word lumen. It shows the examiner you have a high level of anatomical vocabulary. Next question: tap into your data analysis skills, where examiner asks you part of question 1.6. Give two conclusions from table 1. Conclusion 1: smoking increases the risk of all cardiovascular diseases, E, F, G, and H. Conclusion 2: disease H has the highest percentage increase in risk, 70%. compared to people who have never smoked. Let me give you an exam tip. When a question provides a table, try to use at least one specific piece of data, like 70%, in your answer to back up your conclusion. Next question part, which is 1.8, asks you describe one lifestyle factor, not smoking. And the answer to this question is high-fat diet or lack of exercise. Exam tip: read the question carefully. It explicitly says do not refer to smoking. If you write smoking, you get 0 marks even if your statement is scientifically true. Let us move forward to the question 2, which deals with cystic fibrosis and gas exchange. Question part 2.1: where in a cell would the CF gene be found? Answer: nucleus. And the exam tip is genes are always found on chromosomes, which are located inside the nucleus. Nucleus is the standard expected answer here. Now let's take a look at the next slide, and moving forward to next part 2.2 of question 2, which says identify the lungs, pancreas, and small intestine. Answer: A, E, and D. A equals lungs, E equals pancreas, D equals small intestine. Let me give you an exam tip. The anatomy diagrams are common. Practice labeling the digestive system until you can identify the pancreas, tucked behind under the stomach, and the small intestine, the coiled middle part, instantly. Moving on to the next slide, the next part of the question is 2.3. Explain why a person with CF has difficulty digesting food and gaining mass. And the answer is CF causes thick mucus to block the pancreatic duct, so enzymes cannot reach the small intestine. Food is not broken down into small, soluble molecules, so fewer nutrients are absorbed into the blood. The exam tip is, this is a 6-mark style question. Connect the biological failure, blocked ducts, to the physical symptom, weight loss. Next question is 2.4, asks you to describe a very important command word in GCSE. The 3 features of the alveoli. 1. Large surface area, maximizes the amount of gas exchange at once. 2. Thin walls, 1 cell thick, provides a short diffusion path. 3. Rich blood supply, maintains a steep concentration gradient. The exam tip is, never just say thin walls. Always add 1 cell thick to guarantee the mark. Next question, which is 2.5, examiner tap into your understanding of command words, and here they asks you to explain how reduced oxygen affects the body. So it's an explain the process. The question and answer is justified by explaining the phenomena that less oxygen means a lower rate of aerobic respiration. This results in less energy being transferred for muscle contraction or metabolic processes, leading to fatigue. And the exam tip, avoid saying energy is produced. Energy is transferred or released. AQA examiners are very strict on this terminology. Moving forward to the next question on this slide. The question 3 deals with the food tests. Another command word question is 3.1, which asks you to describe the chemical tests for carbohydrates and a risk assessment. Starch, add iodine solution. Color change from orange-brown to blue-black. Sugar, add Benedict solution and heat in a water bath. Color change from blue to green-yellow brick red. Risk, wear safety goggles. Reagents are irritants, or use a water bath to avoid open flames. Exam tip, you must mention heat for the Benedict test. Without mentioning a water bath or heating, you cannot get full marks for that test. Now let's move on to the next slide, and here examiner checks your scientific thinking and understanding of data analysis. Here in part 3.2 of the question, the investigation of students, table 2, about 3 types of breads, and table shows time taken for bread to taste sweet. Here question is, what was the dependent variable? Answer, the time taken for the bread to taste sweet. Let me give you the exam tip. The dependent variable is what you measure. It is almost always found in the right hand column of a results table or on the y-axis of a graph. This question still requires the investigation shown in table 2, and the part 3.3 asks you, give 1 control variable which should have used in investigation, and the answer is the size mass of the piece of bread. Exam tip, a control variable is what you keep the same to ensure a fair test. If the student used a huge piece of brown bread and a tiny piece of white bread, the results wouldn't be comparable.